Welcome to Satsuki Bonsai Demystified. I'm Rick Garcia. It's June and I've nearly completed all of my maintenance work. It's pretty much been non-stop since November, and I have to admit I'm looking forward to the break that summer offers where I could focus on managing growth. Still, if past is prologue, once August rolls around, I'm sure I'll be eagerly anticipating the onset of fall so that I can get back to work. I'm such a doofus. Now, if you caught my very first video on this channel, which dealt with fall maintenance, I mentioned that fall offered the first opportunity to observe the progress of our Satsuki over the preceding growing season. Through those fall maintenance activities, we have the ability to closely observe the success or failure of any development plans we have implemented for each of our Satsuki bonsai. And I'm willing to bet that the overwhelming majority of those development plans involve encouraging some form of growth in your trees. But rather than waiting until fall to measure the success of your plan, wouldn't it be great if we had a way to assess the vigor of Satsuki's new shoots throughout the growing season? As you may have guessed, there sure is. But before we get too far into today's topic, let's return to a challenge I presented in my previous video on post-bloom maintenance. At the end of that video, I invited you to pose a guess on which task I plan to carry out next for that video's subject tree. With that, I'd like to say well done to ampersand the Milky Way 123 for submitting the correct answer. What was the next maintenance task, you ask? Replacing the top layer of soil as demonstrated in the video that I posted last February on root management. By highlighting that as the next maintenance task, I had hoped to demonstrate the flexibility brought with that particular technique. I'd also like to extend an honorable mention to ampersand Michaela Morton-D8S for submitting a response indicating that the next step might be an application of organic fertilizer. But while that might not have been the answer I was looking for, it was nonetheless correct and something I planned on doing as well. So once again, great job to ampersand the Milky Way 123 for correctly guessing. Thank you for watching my videos so closely. All right, let's get back to today's topic. So what exactly is this secret that I teased? The secret lies in managing the tips of your new shoots. To help explain this, I'd like to offer some context. Let's assume, as I asserted earlier, that most of us regard plant growth as a key component of development planning for our Satsuki bonsai. Consider also that if while performing fall maintenance on our Satsuki, we observed that one or several of our trees did not achieve the growth we had hoped for. Perhaps we needed more length, and the new growth was really short. Or maybe we were looking to stimulate additional new shoots but didn't. Whatever the growth objective, if we determine in the fall that we missed our goal, effectively we've lost a year of development, right? This is why having the ability to assess the vigor of your new growth throughout the growing season is incredibly useful. It provides an opportunity to make adjustments in the care given your Satsuki in real time. Also, it bolsters your ability to achieve growth targets in a given year. To assess the vigor of your new shoots, and by extension your Satsuki, look for fresh growth at the shoot tips that is a lighter shade of green than the rest of the shoot. If you have my book, page 92 covers this topic. Fresh green tips are an indicator that the shoots are actively growing and extending. To illustrate precisely what I'm talking about, let's examine 3 shoots in isolation. Here is our first shoot, our second, and finally our third. Notice how the tips of the shoots located within each of the red ovals is a lighter shade of green than the rest of the shoot. This is what you're looking for. Assessing the tree bearing these shoots, we can safely conclude that the care provided to this point has been correct. The health of this Satsuki is robust and vibrant. I should also note that this effect may be more or less pronounced from one variety to the next. The images we have been looking at so far belong to Itodori. If we contrast that with an image of an Asahi no Ikari, we can see that the effect is more pronounced for this variety. Further, as summer progresses and the growth begins to harden off, the effect becomes less noticeable. Now if we flash back to that image containing the massive foliage, I'll bet you can easily see all of the tips with active growth. If the tip is the same color as the rest of the shoot, it has stopped growing. If you're seeing fresh growth at the tips of your shoots, then two critical elements of Satsuki care are in place. First, your Satsuki are receiving proper sun exposure for that month. And next, you're watering your Satsuki correctly. Now, of the two elements of Satsuki care I just mentioned, improper watering is the most common cause of poor shoot development, by far. Too much water will stop the formation of new buds. Also, too much water will halt the elongation of new shoots. So if you're seeing fresh new growth at the tips of your new shoots, simply continue doing what you're doing. You're making the correct adjustments and on track with achieving your growth targets. But what if you determine that your branch tips have stopped growing? Now we arrive at the crux of this video. It is possible to coax your Satsuki back into active growth with a measured, disciplined approach. First, don't overreact. Too many wannabe Satsuki azalea masters will suggest any number of faulty remedies such as increasing fertilizer, giving more water, give it less sun, and a potpourri of other nonsense suggestions that will only exacerbate the problem. But I'm guessing that by now you already know what the first step should be. Back off on the water. Here again, if you have my book, page 90 offers watering strategies beginning in the spring. And it's important to recognize that recovering active growth does not happen immediately, so be patient. The sooner you catch the issue, the quicker your shoots and the tree will recover. Then once you have fully restarted the new growth, simply continue with the same watering techniques that you've utilized to restart the new growth. After successfully restarting active growth, it is important to determine root cause of the overwatering issue. Were you simply using too much water? Should the tree have been repotted that year? If it was repotted that year, did you use particle sizes that were too small? There are many possibilities, but you get the idea. Our goal is to avoid repeating the problem in the following year. So there you have it. Monitoring the tips of your new shoots is the key to achieving growth objectives laid out in any development plans you have for your Satsuki. Make sure you examine the tips of new shoots whenever you're maintaining your Satsuki throughout the growing season. In this way, you can confirm whether the care you're providing is correct, or you quickly adapt your maintenance techniques beginning with the reduction in water you provide to any affected trees. And finally, if you did encounter an overwatering situation, take the time to understand what caused the condition. If you have enjoyed this video, I sure would appreciate your likes and comments. And if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video.